a giant elephant monster of Sri Lankan lore. It is typically portrayed as being ridden by the evil one, Mara. Whoever looks into its evil eye is said to be met with misfortune.
Hello Internet, I'm HamsterBomb.
And I'm Timothy.
And this is Demonica, your Shin Megami Tensei Demon Compendium, where we look at the real-life lore that influenced the designs behind the series' demons. Tonight the moon is, I think, about a half moon. I honestly forgot to check today. But
it was full this morning when I got up.
No way!
Yeah.
It couldn't still be full. It was full last week.
It was full when I got up this morning. So much so where I saw shadows.
So it could have been shining brightly, but it might not have actually been a full moon. Fact check!
Wow, we didn't even get in that far.
Who are we talking about today? Who cares? The moon! Okay, I clarified the mistake here. Yes, tonight, as we record this, it is a full moon, and yes, the moon is shining brightly.
Okay, well, I didn't realize we were talking about future
The day this goes live, it's gonna be a half moon. I thought I looked this up, and we progress about a half moon every week or so. So, yeah, it's supposed to be a half moon by the time we record this, but right now, as we record, this is a special Moon is Shining Brightly episode. Kim, what religious, mythological, historical, fictional, cryptozoological character or concept will we be summoning tonight?
That's Girimekhala. Girimekhala?
Girimekhala? Why are you asking me?
I don't know. I just feel like I've always said it wrong. I want to say Girimekhala because it rolls off the tongue easier, but I think
Are you telling me neither of us looked up how to say this demon?
I mean, I did, but then, like, when I went over all of the Sri Lankan mythology stuff, it was pretty much just, like, read it as it is. Like, there wasn't...
It's not Irish.
You're right.
Okay. Wait, letters mean things. Things are still sacred over in the wonderful land of Sri Lankan mythology.
So I think it's Girimekhala.
I always said Girimekhala.
I just like saying Girimekhala because it's easier.
It is a fun demon to say, isn't it?
I do like saying the name. It's like Hecatoncheires. I also like saying Hecatoncheires.
Yeah, I call them Heckentoncheries.
Heckentoncheires.
Girimekhala. It's just, it's fun for the tongue.
So today we have a little bit of a shorter episode for you guys.
Well, shorter in terms of Girimekhala content. We want to be clear because you might be glancing at the time of this episode and saying, this looks normal. What are you talking about?
Right. So we want to keep the time limit about the same. And my thought was I'd like to make suggestions for SMT demons and maybe come up with moves that it should know and what its alignment is and yada, yada, yada.
Oh, I didn't go that far.
I was ready to talk about this. And I was hoping your SMT knowledge could help inform it a little bit more.
Sure, I could do that. Yeah,
I have some ideas, and I briefly looked up some things.
So anyway, what she's saying is when we hit a demon like Girimekhala, who doesn't have too much actual lore, or other way around, it might not have a lot to talk about in the actual games. It might have appeared only once or something. Say we did Bigfoot, for example. Bigfoot appears, I think, in the original Shin Megami Tensei as a rare demon, and then has just never appeared ever again.
Got a lot of things to say about
that. Well, that's the opposite extreme. Say it has barely appeared in SMT, but we have a lot to talk about lore-wise about the creature. This is kind of a situation where we already anticipate this episode might be a little short compared to the others. So to do that, we're going to compensate by doing this extra idea. Instead of having an entire episode dedicated to suggestions of demons, we're going to put little surprise teaser ones from our list that are just going to appear in the end of these episodes. So we're going to cover one demon per one of these episodes. So we're not going to spoil who it is just yet. You're going to have to stick around and find out.
Yes. I'm excited to rant about other demonic things that you might not know as much about, so...
Yeah, that should be in Shin Megami Tensei. As we just covered, I can't believe in the last episode Fionn McCool took that long to get into Shin Megami Tensei.
It is crazy. He is accredited with so many things in Ireland, and that is crazy he took that long.
I know, it's nuts. But anyway, one that I think the other way around about is Girimekhala. That one is super weird.
He's been here for so long, and it's like... Not that much.
Yeah, there's a reason we're telling you up front that this might not be as long as one of the other episodes. Now, with that out of the way, what do we first think of when we hear the name Girimekhala?
So, what I think of, because I played Persona 5 first, and I think he was a mini-boss in that, and I had a few choice bleepity bleep 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 words for him. when I was fighting against him.
I know exactly what mini-boss you're talking about, and I'm going to talk about it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Because bleepity bleep bleep.
Yeah. See, my first thought when I hear Girimekhala is, stop hitting yourself! Stop hitting yourself! Stop hitting yourself! Stop hitting yourself! This is a safe place where we can all sit in a circle and calmly admit that we have all hit Girimekhala with a physical attack at one point in our lives.
Horrible elephant.
In case you are the rare person who managed to get through these games and has not done this, let me let you in on the secret. Girimekhala likes to repel physical attacks. And in a system like pretty much all of the Atlas SMT games and their brethren, repelling an attack or having an attack absorbed sucks away all your press turns, and now it is suddenly the opponent's turn.
Right.
And that's about as bad as
so
it could ever
cruel.
get. Considering your first move is probably to punch the elephant. Don't punch the elephant.
You know what? It's funny because this reminds me exactly of the fight against Matador in SMT3 where it was still the same choice bleepity bleep words.
Matador, man, he is a super punishing boss really early in the beginning of that game just to teach you how important stats are going to be in the game.
Well, and I knew that too because I like a super buff stat against Fornius at the beginning of that game. And
Yeah. Fornius isn't that bad.
No, it was super easy. I think he only hit me once.
There's a few demons that give you Zeo in there really early, so he's weak to electricity. It's
Then
not so
that
bad.
bleepity bleep bleep.
But Matador, I think Matador has no weaknesses and deals force damage. So similar to Girimekhala, one of the best tricks against him is to try and counter his force with something like a Nozuchi that can try to at least block or drain the force so that you get your turn back.
I used Nozuchi and Nekomata in that, and I think those were the ones that kept me alive. Nekomata was able to give me Dia, I think.
Yeah, you need a healer on top of the fact
And
that...
it wasn't able to, it didn't
Yeah.
take force damage or something. I don't know.
A Matador episode would be really interesting because that's just like a guy. I don't understand
just
why
a Matador.
what compelled the Japanese developers to make this a fiend as opposed to say like the Grim Reaper. I think we've brought this up before.
But that's a spooky skeleton Matador.
Sure. Well, they're all spooky skeletons.
They're spooky skeletons.
Like Hellbiker. What is that? What are you doing?
A comic from the 80s.
Exactly.
Was it from the 80s? Maybe 70s.
You gonna make me fact check this?
Yeah. Fact check!
Oh, originated in 71, if I'm seeing that right. Wow, it is,
Oh, okay. My last
much-
guess was right.
it's much older than I thought it was, yeah.
It's a very old comic.
So let's first talk about Girimekhala as he appears in SMT. Should I say he, it,
You
they?
can say he. He
Yeah,
is fine.
he's
it doesn't.
good?
I don't think it has a.
Okay.
He is fine.
Okay. I don't like assuming the gender of elephants.
Well, okay. I think they're all he's.
They're all he's. They is a species.
It's a species.
Okay, they is a species, but they are all male.
I think so.
How do they reproduce?
I don't know.
You know I always ask these questions.
There wasn't enough information for me to ask these questions.
I don't know, it's related to Mara. Reproduction is going to be on everyone's mind during this episode.
You know, I don't even think I did a pop quiz for this episode, so that's great.
Oh crap, did I forget too? Yes, I have a pop quiz.
There was such little information. I was sitting down there and I was like, what am I going to ask? And I was like, I have nothing.
You know, I've been waiting for a situation like that to tell you something like, Kim, here's your question. Girimekhala is a demon in Shin Megami Tensei. What is the capital of Oregon? And then just something random, and just hope that you answer correctly because I got nothing for you.
I mean, like, maybe I could come up with something off the top of my head right now, but it's going to be really obvious which one's the correct answer.
Okay, well, you can do your best as long as there's something there, and you didn't say that you missed some. Because as soon as you miss one, then you'll be compelled to miss more later.
I don't want to miss one yet.
I'm sure people like
I'm
your
gonna
quizzes.
write it. I'm going to write in my quiz right now.
Alright, you can do it during our break.
Okay.
Anyway, Girimekhala, as we mentioned, is a menace. A menace that has been around since the Famicom's Megami Tensei 2. I don't know about you, but my gut sinks every time I see a Girimekhala, knowing I'll have to blow some of my precious MP in order to beat him and progress. All things considered, if you know what to do, he's actually quite easy to deal with, but you'll likely still be caught off guard when auto-attacking or forgetting about his bouncy physical repelling tricks. This elephant can feel invincible because of the physical repellent alone, but in many of his appearances he also reflects gunfire. The idea of a giant sword-swinging elephant that reflects all physical attacks and even gunfire is horrifying.
Stupid elephant.
Oh, and to make matters even worse, he tends to also block or resist dark.
Why would he resist dark? That seems like a weird thing. Working for demons.
Well, he is.
I mean, I guess resisting dark is fine. What are his weaknesses?
Yeah, I'm not there yet.
Okay.
What about the downside to being this unstoppable elephant? Turns out he's very stoppable to compensate for his absurd reflecting abilities. Girimekhala is weak to a lot of elements based on the game you play. Most recently, he tends to be weak to electric, force, and light. But in some games, he's weak to as many as 5 elements, adding fire and ice to the mix. This is all a generous apology for the horrible fate of the unwitting first-timer killing their own demon with a reflected attack. Kim, it is time for your pop quiz question. I'm rubber, you're glue. How many games does Girimekhala bounce your attacks right back at you? A. Every last one of them he appears in. B. Who cares? He did it once and I'll never forgive him. C. Only the games where he doesn't reflect gun. D. All but the original Famicom game.
I really want to go with B. I'm gonna go with D though.
All but the original Famicom game?
Yeah.
Oh shoot! You were right at first. Actually, I was gonna give it to you if you said B.
Because everybody can agree with that one.
The correct answer is actually A. To the best of my knowledge, researching Girimekhala, he reflects physical in every single iteration.
What a jerk.
The only one that is sometimes is gunfire, but gunfire isn't always something to reflect, because sometimes it's not a thing, like in SMT 3 and 5. I would also accept B because finding this out the hard way would be psychotic, and I'm not going to hit him with a physical attack in games where I'm not sure.
We've learned.
Outside of being neutral in a couple early games, Girimekhala is now consistently a law demon, which surprised me. He is always dark aligned though, where the light to dark attributes are still being used. How do you think about that?
Eh?
Yeah, okay, alright.
He's such a footnote. You don't even understand.
Okay. He's also usually a member of the Jackie race, which in the old games means that he cannot be recruited or reasoned with at all. You can still talk to him, however, and you'll find in later games where he can be recruited that he has the attitude of a crotchety old man complaining about his back and such.
That sounds right.
Nowadays, he's a member of the Vile race instead. Girimekhala's best stat is always strength, closely followed by magic and sometimes even matching his magic. This monster is designed to steal your press turns away when you accidentally hit yourself, and then finish the job with one powerful attack. You can expect strong physical and poison attacks like Titanomachia and Toxic Spray when being attacked. As for magic attacks, nothing is consistent. Each game he hits you with something different, from Bufula to Shock to Mamadoon. It really just goes all over the place.
Oh, okay.
I don't even think there were 2 games where he shared the same element. So he's just weak to a bunch of different elements so that you have a chance to hit him with something.
Yeah, but you're never gonna know which element it is, so
it's almost
good luck playing that roulette.
Sure, but it's almost always electric force light, what he's weak to. Sometimes he's weak to more, but he's almost guaranteed to be weak to those. And don't try dark or physical. Just don't. Alright, so since Girimekhala has been around for so long, he's had quite a lot of different story integrations. Instead of digging through the weeds, let's instead focus on just a few notable story moments involving this big bouncy elephant. In SMT 3, there are a whole race of living twitchy mud people called mannequins. Though they are generally polite and docile dreamers, one of them, named Sakahagi, is a drastic exception. Sakahagi is a brutal murderer, killing mannequins and skinning them to add their flayed skin to his clothes, as well as collect their magatsuhi for harvest.
Okay, so it sounded gross until I realized they were mannequins, and then it sounded less gross, and then it sounded gross again because you used the words flayed and flesh and harvest all in the same
But
paragraph.
they have flesh, and he is filleting them.
That is disgusting.
His model is covered in faces of mannequin
so
skin.
That is
yes,
that is
it's
nasty.
Yeah, it's nasty. He's usually also coated in blood.
Oh.
This guy is psycho. And to make matters even worse, he is a mannequin himself, as I mentioned. He's a mannequin killing other mannequins as a means to gain Magatsuhi. There's so many ways to get Magatsuhi in SMT3, yet he decides to kill his own kind for them. This guy's psycho. His goal is to amass so much Magatsuhi he can command and control the strongest demons. When confronted in Yoyogi Park by the Demi-Fiend, he resorts to using his Magatsuhi to summon the strongest demon he can to beat you. A black void opens up in the ground where a massive elephant head emerges, and a single cartoon eye blinks awake like a little doink, 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 and Girimekhala attacks in a boss fight. After learning the painful lesson of Repel Physical, the Demi-Fiend moves on to Sakahagi himself and kills him as well. In SMT5, you can eventually come across a massive Girimekhala in Dot that can be taken down as an optional mini-boss. If you do so, you can collect the gross item of Girimekhala's head in order to complete a side quest for a demon who wants it. There's also a unique interaction between Girimekhala and Mara if you can get them to meet in a wild encounter.
That makes sense.
Mara wants to revive old times by riding on Girimekhala's back, but complaining about his old back, Girimekhala turns him down repeatedly, and Mara, being Mara, is super perverted about this the entire time and doesn't take the rejection very well.
That sounds right.
Lastly, in SMT5, during the intense boss fight with the Demi-Fiend, the former protagonist can summon Girimekhala alongside classic characters like Jack Frost, Cuchulainn, and Cerberus to challenge the Nahabino. This may be due to his boss inclusion in 3 that we already mentioned, as Thor appears on his team for the same reason, I assume. Now, one more game I'd like to cover is one that most of you have probably played, Persona 5. Futaba's uncle has a unique shadow form you'll battle in a side encounter in the metaverse, and you guessed it, he takes the form of Girimekhala. Honestly, I don't see the connection between this money-grubbing uncle and the elephant mount, but whatever.
I don't know. A lot of those seemed really off to what they were supposed to be. I think they were just trying to pick a balanced demon.
For that point in the game.
For that point in the game, yeah.
Yeah, and it was about that point in the game for them to hit Repel Physical at you.
Yeah, apparently.
It was time.
Oh, let me just go into Mementos and take out some of these requests. Don't mind me. Oh.
I'm Rubber, you're
blue.
Now, this is going to sound weird considering how long we've had Girimekhala in the series, but his design has hardly changed a bit since his inception. Sure, occasionally he changes color or weapon, but you can expect to always see a large bipedal elephant with one eye. Girimekhala is usually blue with red ears and holds a large cutlass. With higher resolution in newer games, he also wears purple wrappings around his waist and a decorative loincloth hanging between his legs. You can also spy some gold jewelry and purple tattoos lining his body. There is one exception to the consistency, and shockingly, it is not from Demikids or Last Bible. He actually looks like a chibi Girimekhala as we know him in those games.
I saw it, yeah. He just looks like a little chibi one.
He just looks cute. Like, it's just most of the Demikids designs look completely different, or they're just like adorable versions.
Like, what if this one was just like a little purple elephant on all 4 legs with one eye, and that's it?
Done that, but no, it just looks like Girimekhala but smaller. No, the weird one is actually SMT4, believe it or not, where Girimekhala, get this, stands on all 4s.
You know what?
Like
I
an
believe
elephant.
it though, because you keep telling me that SMT4 just decided it was gonna revamp everything, and I applaud them for it.
Oh yeah, they kind of redesigned pretty much everything in that game. It's really weird. And they designed a lot of new demons for that too. I think the reason they did that was because they were moving from 3D models, which you have to animate and make look good from multiple angles and all that, to 2D sprites, basically. And you just take in this PNG file, you paint it once, and you're done. And you can just make a new demon, create new stats, and move on with your life. Right,
because I sometimes forget, you know, if you liked SMT back when it was coming out, you would have had to have owned multiple consoles.
Oh, yeah. So in SMT4, he also gets a second smaller pair of tusks, some dangling jewelry attached to them, and a large black cape. And yeah, that's about all there is to say for the visual variety with this guy. This is one of the most solid and consistent designs in the series, especially considering how long he's been a demon, which, remember, is the second Famicom game.
Yep.
He's been around a long time and just doesn't change. Like, the most extreme example was him turning pink. And that was, like, it.
Which isn't extreme at all.
No, it's not. It's considering some of the weird stuff we've covered so far. Like, if you see him in any of his incarnations, you can recognize it's Girimekhala right away.
That weird Nekomata he keeps showing me in Raido, and I'm like, I don't like that.
Yeah, but you could tell that's Nekomata, at least. And, you know,
yeah,
some of the
I guess.
other
They
Nekomatas
made it
you
a
can
calico.
recognize.
It's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. Its tail splits at the end, too.
Well, that's fine. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it's more mystical.
That's a Nekomata thing. That's fine.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I think the Super Famicom one splits the tail, too.
Which is fine.
Maybe it always split the
That
tail.
is not my complaint.
I don't know. We have to do a Nekomata episode for that to be fact checked.
I don't even think that's our in.
Huh?
I don't even think that's the in that we picked Nekomata.
Oh, no, we're not spoiling that. But no, I can tell you for now, that is not going to be the N.
I don't remember. I have to wait for you to remind me.
Yeah, I remember.
I know, because you read the list like 700 times while we were on vacation.
I also made all the thumbnails in advance.
Yeah. You're not crazy. It's fine.
Anyway, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we will dive into what lore there is of Girimekhala.
Can't wait to move on to that second half.
Let's see how fast I can read through it this time. Did you know we have an Etsy shop where we make handmade people... Damn it, I already screwed it up. Handmade perler bead art of classic video game sprites, including Shin Megami Tensei Demons. If you want one for your collection, head over to HamsterBombStudios.etsy.com, and just for our podcast listeners, use the code Demonica10 for 10% off your order. We do commissions.
We're making a giant Lucifer right now.
Yeah, it's beautiful. He's got light up eyes. And we're back with more Demonica. Now it is time to ask the question, the very loaded question, with so much backstory behind it. Kim, who or what is Girimekhala?
He's an elephant. That's a horse.
Thank you all so much for listening. Take care, not to let the demons possess you while you sleep. Wait, hold on. That's it?
That's it. Okay, before I start, I want to say there isn't much there. I know I've already said it before. I'm giving you another warning about Girimekhala, that there isn't much there, and it's going to be real short.
But another warning that there is going to be a bonus surprise. What if this was a real demon in SMT?
Which I feel like I'm going to go on a longer
after.
rant about than Girimekhala, because my rant about Girimekhala is that I have a few choice words to say to him every time I see him. And that is about it.
That elephant just messes people up.
So, Girimekhala is Mara's demonic steed that he rides to tempt Buddha. He is from Sri Lankan mythology and closely tied to Buddhism and Hinduism.
Don't tell me that was it.
Okay, well, let's try to get into some traits.
Okay.
I really couldn't find anything about his appearance in SMT that was, like, offensive, so, I mean...
So there's illustrations of Girimekhala out there.
No, there's a description in a book.
Okay, what's the description say?
Okay, well, he's said to be a very large demonic elephant with one eye.
Okay. So nothing about him standing bipedal or holding a sword?
No sword. Well, that was my only thing with SMT that I kind of had a problem with. I'm like, why does he have a sword? He's just a mount for Mara.
Yeah, I don't know how that works if he's standing up.
But we have his precise height.
Oh, wait. Okay. Meaning we can reason Mara's height, or length, and girth.
Its height is precisely 250 yojana.
Let me calculate this really quick.
Okay.
How many yojana
Which is
Mara?
approximately, apparently it's like an old ancient Indian way to measure things. And I don't know why it was written like that. It just was. Which is approximately 2,000 to 2,500 miles tall.
Miles? What? That's just stupid. I can't even imagine an elephant 1 mile tall for crying out loud.
I'm like, is this hind legs, forelegs? I don't know. There's like a website to where you can go on and it says compare this to something, and you could say this is like 5,000 refrigerators tall or something.
That's
like
not what I was looking up. Hold on. All right, I just wanted to look something up really quick. So assuming that Girimekhala is standing at the bottom of the Marianas Trench, then he's still... an absurd...
His head's still poking out of the water is what you're telling me?
I don't even think his ankles are touching the water. Because the Marianas Trench is about 7 miles deep. I don't even think that his ankles are gonna touch.
Is he like in outer orbit up there?
Oh yeah. Yes. He doesn't fit on this planet.
That's okay.
How does he lay down? He lays down and like picks a continent to lay down on to go to sleep and just levels the entire thing.
I don't know how he helps tempt Buddha without accidentally stepping on him.
So the Buddha was aroused by this?
No!
But he's tempting the Buddha and he's bringing Mara.
Okay, Mara is tempting the Buddha.
Yeah.
Who I've also found out is also called Mara the Terrible or something like that. No, Mara the Murderer. That's what the name was.
Mara the Murderer. Okay, I mean that explains the blady chariot look that he has in SMT.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to the
I'm sure
Mara another day.
I'm sure Mara's gonna get an episode.
Well, it's also said one who looks into the eye of a Girimekhala will fall sick and die.
fall sick and die, that's a little more extreme than what we said at the top of this episode.
was like
which was,
ill
will be
fate.
set with misfortune. Yes.
So not only does Mara ride Girimekhala, several other demonic entities in the mythos do too.
I'm sure there's plenty
just
of
like
room.
a species, so it's not one of those like singular demon ones, so...
Where do you put them? Did they believe that, like, the Earth was, like, infinitely flat and went on forever or
It's
something?
mythology. Most people don't believe the mythology. It's just a mythology.
But like, if you go back far enough, people did believe in a lot of their mythologies.
Sure, that's how it works.
Not all of them, sure, but most of them were for remembering and telling stories to
Right.
pass on to other people.
So, this is just going to bring me to my pop quiz that I randomly had to think of real quickly.
Okay, yeah. How
Okay.
deep is the Marianas Trench?
Some believe that Girimekhala is a demonic version of another holier mythological elephant. Which of these is a demon that he is believed to have come from? Gimunu, Topsy, Ganesha.
Ganesha.
Correct.
Yeah, I know that. Ganesha has also been around for, like, freaking ever in
There's
SMT.
also another SMT demon that he is thought to have come from, but I can't say. It's like Airavata. It's another elephant, if you looked it up. It's just another
I do
elephant.
remember a very Sri Lanka-looking elephant that I've seen in SMT4 and I think Soul Hackers, but I don't remember its name. It might have been one of those that you mentioned, but my internet is so freaking slow right now, I'm not going to fact check it.
There's nothing saying, like, confirming that to be true. It's just something people have hypothesized about.
Like, the timeline checks out, it's just,
Like,
it just appears
maybe,
after that time.
well, like, there's no stories about, oh, it was, like, it became evil, you know? It's just, like, some people have a theory about it. So that leads me more into, like, the more historical origin, because there isn't a lot to talk about with Girimekhala. But I do want to talk about, I was able to find him in text and figure out how old the text was. So I at least
Okay.
have a date.
Okay, good, so we can still keep putting, like, a timeline of our demons
Right,
together.
like, and I wish I was writing these down so I could timeline.
We need to go
out
back
these
and listen
demons.
to this and keep a record in an Excel
All I
sheet
know
or
is
something.
this is not the newest one and it is not the oldest one, and that's all I'm keeping track of.
Gosh, no, we need that Excel sheet. You love categorizing these things.
Oh, I love it. I love Excel sheets.
As she says as she caresses her own neck. And gazes into the sky.
From my under...
No, she's laughing, but she actually did that.
I did. I love Excel sheets. From my understanding, Girimekhala was first written about in the 13th century, which is why I'm saying he's not that old.
Oh, okay. But he's still kind of in the middle.
Much like other mythology, was passed on from oral tradition first, so it could be as early as the 4th century, is what they're saying through
Okay.
oral tradition.
So, yeah, you're past the point where I would say there's no way that people seriously believe that the Earth was flat by this point, because people had seen...
This is was mythology to explain, and it came from a biography of Buddha,
Okay.
is what it was.
I was going to say, since people had seen lunar eclipses by this point, everyone with a sane mind would go, oh, that's a circle. The Earth's shadow is a circle. You know?
I can't fit a giant elephant on
Yeah,
that.
there's no way that Girimekhala could exist. So as long as they saw a lunar eclipse, they would know for sure
Didn't think they were forsaken by a god.
that earthquakes was not Girimekhala laying down to go to sleep somewhere.
So today I'm going to talk a little bit about the Girimekhala, the life of the victorious Buddha. And like I said, this is like a book or poem about just like the life of Buddha.
Okay.
From the 13th century and translated into English. So
This is probably the only place you're ever going to find anything
it is
about
the
Girimekhala.
only real mention I could find of Girimekhala.
Oh god, it is the only thing. Okay.
And it pretty much is that he is a mount that Mara uses to ride into battle to tempt Buddha, and then is defeated when Mara is defeated. Like, they mentioned it at the beginning. It's like Mara summons his steed,
Okay.
and at the end, Mara's steed falls.
So the only thing
is the
Girimekhala
text.
does is die?
The title of this section...
How did Buddha deal with repel physical? That's the real question here.
it's all mind magic. He's fine.
He had plenty of MP.
So...
He had somas.
The title of this specific section is so aptly named. It's just called The Defeat of Mara.
Okay.
So, that's what I got. I still gotta go over current context, even though current context is pretty much just SMT and Persona. So, mostly he's just used in video games, and it's pretty much just SMT.
I was gonna say video games plural, like more than SMT.
Oh, but there is one.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You wanna take a guess? It's the usual suspect.
It's Final Fantasy.
It's Final Fantasy.
What a weird pick for them, though. I mean, Girimekhala is a weird pick for SMT.
They're just finding a name of an elephant and attributing it to a woolly mammoth. That is all.
Oh my god.
This is 14, by the way, so this is not...
This is recent.
This is recent.
They probably saw it from SMT, honestly.
And all the photos of it were horrible because it's like a rare hunt in that game. So, like, I mean, it's just a woolly mammoth. I don't but it's called Girimekhala, so there it is. Nothing in Castlevania because that would be real weird.
Yeah.
I also thought
very obscure.
I thought it was weird it showed up in Final Fantasy at all because I thought it was too obscure.
Yeah, Castlevania tends to take really popular stuff and then illustrate it completely wrong.
So for the most part, you type in Girimekhala, you were going to get all SMT. I had to tell my Google search, take out Persona, take out SMT, just give me the mythology. And like 3 links came up.
On Google. Oh my god. This
now,
poor
I don't live in
elephant
Sri
doesn't
Lanka,
exist.
so maybe that might be part of the problem. I don't know.
Yeah, but this doesn't sound like a thing that anybody is actively praying to or believing in a mythology where it still is present or doing anything today.
No.
Okay. It's weird in SMT because we discussed the Tulpa in the beginning of episode 1, saying like that's kind of where these demons get their power. And Girimekhala is very powerful. It's almost always a late game to like mid to late game demon. And by the time you see this thing and the repel physical trick, which has nothing to do with its story apparently, they just pulled this out of nowhere. Like it could have been anything. Why is he a bouncy elephant?
He's an elephant that stands 2,500 miles tall.
You know, at least when
and has one eye.
Yes, at least when you see him in SMT games, he's almost always huge. Like, as big as they can get away with.
He's always usually very
The
big.
one in SMT 5 is standing at the bottom of a huge ditch, like the Marianas Trench, and his head is, like, higher than you as he's standing at the bottom of this crater.
Well, I'm so glad that's what we've compared Girimekhala to, is the Marianas Trench.
And not come anywhere near... I was going to look up, like, the tallest mountain, you know, in comparison to the Marianas Trench and say, all right, so if you put Marianas Trench right next to Mount Everest or whatever the winner is, because I'm pretty sure it's actually something around Hawaii.
I mean, the tallest mountain I know is actually on Mars, I think, but...
Olympus Mons. That's the wrong planet. Okay, I'm saying on our planet, say he was standing in the right spot, and you, like, crushed these 2 points together... I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in the Caribbean, but there's this other mountain, the like highest elevation
Okay,
point.
let's not do any serious terraforming here. We're going to be okay.
But if we did that, it still wouldn't matter, because if Marianas Trench is only 7 miles...
I just like that there was no information on this elephant other than a very specific size.
And that size is ridiculous. It's like our old Pokedex Paradox show we did. This is just ridiculous.
Well, that's all I got about Girimekhala.
Yeah.
He went into battle, and then he died.
That doesn't make any sense. It's because Buddha knew how to use special attacks. That's what it is.
Of course.
He knew how to use light, electric, and force.
We will read more about the defeat of Mara when we get to Mara, and we will learn about how Buddha did this.
Yes, I don't want to glaze over it, but I understand. We need to save that episode for
right,
Mara.
so that was my thing. I was like, I don't want to give too much information about this. I'm just going to look at the Girimekhala parts. His name was mentioned 3 times.
Oh my god. Like, total? That was it?
In this book that was like hundreds of pages long.
Oh, wow. Why did they single this out? It's like the most obscure demon they could have ever picked.
Maybe they were just going country by country, and they were like, I don't know, what's in Sri Lanka?
That might not be out of the question, because Mara has been around for a very long time, too. So they might have just looked at the Mara story and grabbed Girimekhala just because they were like, well, that's also, you know,
but, like,
Sri Lanka.
Mara sounds like it is a popular story, though, so it...
Yeah, it has a little bit more to it than the horse that it used that one time.
Yeah.
Elephant horse.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I guess we're going to move on to the second segment of this.
Yeah, if we could, please. That was really painful.
Yeah, well, that was all we have about that elephant. So, Kim, I guess you can take it away. What on earth are we going to be talking about for the rest of this episode?
Okay, so I'm going to talk about... I'm just going to info dump on you guys about weird phenomenons and how I think they should be demons in SMT.
Because there's a lot of cool stuff out there that hasn't been used at all or tapped into for SMT, but for some reason we have this elephant.
I know, right?
Why do we have this elephant?
Alex suggested this because I still want to do one that's more around Christmas time, so I hope we have a shorter one for around Christmas time.
Yeah, the one she recommended was definitely for a Christmas episode, and I had to cancel that one. But no, we're going to do something a little spookier because it's Halloween season right now.
So we are going to suggest, our demonic suggestion is the Hat Man.
The Hat Man. Sorry, I had to give it a little bit of oomph.
So I'm going to give you a brief description of the Hat Man.
Okay.
And you're going to have to forgive me if I get something wrong, but I didn't look it up because I'm very familiar with this subject. I've heard several encounters and podcasts, and sure, I'm not an expert, but I think I can describe it to you guys fairly, and you'll get the idea.
Cool.
The Hat Man is a shadow figure wearing a hat and usually has glowing eyes. He mostly appears in people's bedroom at night. He's perceived as a malevolent spirit of some sort and usually causes great fear. It is believed that he feeds off of the fear and will not actually harm you. Sometimes he's associated with sleep paralysis and is considered to be a shadow person, which is described as a silhouette of a person that is blacker than black, like a void. He has been seen throughout history, throughout cultures. He is everywhere.
Yes, like all around the world.
All around the world. Like, you can find him in, I think, Native American lore, too. It goes back.
Yeah, and I recommended this demon because I've seen it.
Yes.
Yeah, so I can tell you that story whenever Shin is finished.
Spooky story.
Yeah, you want your spooky story?
Well, I was just, maybe you should go into that now, because after this, I'm just going into how he's going to fit perfectly into SMT.
Oh, okay, yeah, maybe I should. I should probably preface, I'm a very practical, scientific person. I try to look at everything as rationally as I can. Though I do enjoy watching videos of ghosts and stuff like that, I try to figure out, like, how is that working? How's that possible?
Said every single person I've ever heard who has a phenomenon encounter of some sort always has to preface with, I am a practical, sane person.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying, and on top of that, for years, many years, like I'm going to say like 10 years after I saw this, had this event happen to me, I hadn't even heard of Hat Man. I had no idea what people were talking about, or that it was even a thing, that other people had experienced the same thing that had happened to me. So this is before I was married, like I said, about 15 years ago. I'm sleeping in my bedroom, which is directly above my parents' room. I'm on the second floor.
This is a large open house.
Yeah, it's
too.
a very large open house, and like there's a large open living room with a banister that kind of wraps around it.
This is terrifying.
Yeah, I hate how big it is, and that house always creeped me out. It was always spooky, and I swear, actually, a few times when I was left alone, that I was staying home and just like watching the dogs, and at nighttime I would see something at the front door that looked exactly like a figure with a hat, like just standing and staring through the windows and just watching me. And I would just like sit there with my phone in my hand and turn Spotify up a little louder, you know, and try and turn more lights on just to make myself feel, you know, a little better.
That house is super uncomfortable. And I can say that because the house we live in, I don't feel anything here. I feel comfortable. I like it.
Oh yeah,
no
our
problem.
house is so much better.
The moment I go over to your parents' house, awful. Just dread. Like,
something really weird must have happened there. And they built this place too. So I don't know if it was on top of a secret Indian burial ground or something like that, but something got disturbed and this place is really messed up. So anyway, while I am trying to sleep and just get some energy back for college, I would sometimes hear footsteps pacing around my bed. In the morning, my parents would ask me why I was getting up in the middle of the night and walking around. Why are you looking at me like that?
Because I didn't know your parents heard it too.
Oh yeah, they heard him too. There's pacing, walking around me. I said, I did not get up. I went to the bathroom like maybe once or twice, and that was it. And they were like, no, I didn't hear the toilet flush. I'm like, okay, well, that's when I went to the bathroom. So if you were listening to something else, that was me laying in my bed trying to sleep, while that suspicious thing that I've been thinking about is like, I feel like I'm being watched. I didn't see anything at this point, but I felt like I was being watched. There's occasional times where I would like lean over to one side. I would hate having my back to my door, and I would always shut my door anyway and lock it too. Like I would even shut that and lock it, and I'd still feel paranoid with my back to my door. Just being in that room, I always felt like I was being watched or something like that. I remember this one instance where I had my back to my door and I felt a little nervous. This black hand like reached over my shoulder and was like slowly stroking my arm very slowly, and then as I quickly turned to try and look at it after I'd, gotten my fear under control. Of course, it vanishes instantly. And this isn't me, like, being half asleep, all dreamy-eyed, like, oh, what is that? I know what that's like. I've, like, half woken up before and, like, seen things floating in my room and tried to, like, swat them out of the air because, I'm trying to figure it out. But that kind of thing. That's not what this was. I was wide awake. Now, one of these nights, I'm trying to sleep, and I actually do kind of half, like, doze off. And I do have, I'm going to say sleep paralysis. I've, like, never had this happen to me before, but I was laying facing my door this time, and I almost never face my door, as I mentioned. Facing the door makes me uncomfortable, because then, like, I'm leaning towards the thing, and then if I'm not facing the door, then I feel like the thing's approaching from behind.
I have to say, I have slept in this bedroom several times, like while you and your family was on vacation. So I would go there in that house to watch the two dogs.
My bedroom became the guest bedroom, basically.
Right. So I'd go in there, and I always had to sleep facing the door. Mm-hmm. I hated that I had to keep the door open because I had to make sure that the dogs could go in and out.
Yeah, the dogs need to
come in and out. And I wanted those dogs to sleep next to me, because if they were not sleeping next to me, I was not sleeping. And I think I asked you to put a nightlight up there for me while you were gone. And it didn't help that, like, the ice maker would go off in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
so, like, I know what that sound is.
It's
but
also really far from, it's like the opposite corner of the house, too. So it echoes by the time it gets to you. So it's a big, open, empty house. So, like, I knew what that sound was, but it was still just, I felt like I had to face the door because it made me uncomfortable to face away from it, because I had to, like, know. I feel like that's a very feminine thing to do too. Like, you always sit with your back to the wall, or you sit in a corner. I've asked other women about this. Apparently it's just a thing we do versus what men do. I don't know. I grew up in this spooky house, and, like, half. I'm going to say, like, around high school is when we moved into this place.
Did you ever have these feelings, like, at your old house?
I was, yeah. I was totally uncomfortable and creeped out at the old house, but different things happening, not so much.
Okay, well, we'll get back to Hatman.
Yeah, it might be relevant. I did see stuff and get freaked out a lot there, but that was younger, before then. So at this point, I am trying to sleep, and I am facing my door, and I half wake up in this sleep paralysis. I try and, like, budge and move. This is the first time, and the only time this has ever happened to me, where I couldn't move. And my locked door in the middle of the night swings open. And not just, like, swing isn't even the right word. It's like somebody kicked it open. It just, boom! It swings open, and this freezing glacial air is blowing into the room. It is ice cold. And now I'm, like, under my blanket, so I can still, like, have a little bit of coverage, but I still can't move, and I'm trying to move. And I notice coming around the corner is this tall, pitch black, foggy mass with glowing red eyes. And it's like staring at me, and, like, the cold was one thing. But the real thing that hit me worse was, as soon as I saw that thing, you get hit with this wave of fight or flight fear response. Like, this is the worst thing in the world, get away, but I couldn't move at all. So the fact that, of course, I can't move is probably going to make it worse, but this wasn't even, like, a rational fear. Sure, you can be afraid of heights or snakes or something like that, like, you can rationalize. There is just, like, there's a trigger or, like, a dial in your brain that determines how much fear something is. This went from 0 to cranked all the way up, and it stayed all the way up until the end of this event. And while it's standing there, like, just, I feel like it was just enjoying me suffering for a bit. It said something that really disturbed me. I don't remember what it was, because
it spoke.
Yeah,
I hardly ever hear stories about it.
Well,
speaking.
it didn't like.
It was in your mind, right?
Yeah, it was in my head.
It was in your head.
Yeah, it was in my head. It didn't actually, like, move its mouth or anything like that. But, like, it was clearly coming from it, because I know my internal voice, and that ain't my voice.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so it says something. And it was so disturbing. Like I said, this was many years ago. I intentionally tried to forget about it so much that I don't truly remember what it said. But it said something along the lines of, this person doesn't love you anyway, or something like that. I don't know how that would upset me, because my parents, I know they don't give a crap about me. So clearly it wasn't them.
Sounds horrible. I shouldn't laugh.
Clearly that ain't them. So whatever it was something that really upset me. And it was just, like, standing there and enjoying that until the sleep paralysis thing started to fade off. And right when I was finally starting to be able to, like, move a little bit, it went back around the corner, and the wind died down, and my door stayed open,
Do you think it
And
went to your
I was
brother's
awake.
room?
I think it actually did go that way.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it bothered him too.
I don't remember which way it went because I'm pretty sure it got closer and closer to me.
Because I'm also wondering, I was like, well, if it went the other way, could it have been going after your sister too, going the other direction?
Yeah,
So.
Depending on which way it went, yeah, my brother would have been him going to the left, my sister to the right. But from what I remember, it was coming straight towards me, and it kind of like fizzled away. I don't know if it like went through
Well,
the
see,
halls.
that I would be more creeped out if it had walked away and less creeped out if it had faded away. Because if it would have faded away, I'd been like, okay,
I'm the only target.
it's over, it's done, it's gone. But if it kept walking, I'd be like, this is here now.
Well, the scariest thing to me was like I said, going back to me, the rational person, trying to look into the fact that like I can see what sleep paralysis is. I understand that you can see weird stuff, have hallucinations while you're half asleep and your body can't move and you're trying to wake up. You could even feel things like the cold air. Like, I'm trying to rationalize everything. But then I sat there awake and looked at my door that I know I locked. And it is wide open in the middle of the night. Nobody's awake. I even got up and like snuck around to my sister's door, my brother's door. Everyone was asleep.
Ooh, okay, and what, you had a husky and a Samoyed at the time, or just a husky?
Oh, yeah, there was a husky and a Samoyed, and they were both sleeping downstairs.
Yeah,
they sleep in my parents'
kind
bedroom.
Usually when that kind of stuff happens, they're kind of...
The dogs freak out?
Yeah, sometimes they're a little bit more sensitive. But yeah, you've never told me that full story before. I am covered in goosebumps because your account is so similar to so many others that I've heard.
And I've never heard any others.
I'm gonna plug a podcast because I really want you to go on it. It's called Jim Harold's Campfire. This guy has been doing podcasts since like 2009 or something like that, and he's been collecting these stories. So there's been a lot of stories like this of the Hat Man and of Shadow People and how they just like survive. You were hitting so many staples that I had never even told you about before.
Oh, yeah, I guess it's good that I went first because like I could draw the hat and everything. Like, I know exactly what... I like Googled Hat Man after Kim told me that it was a thing, and I went, oh my god, that's the thing! That's exactly what it looks like.
I recently just told him this, like, what, like a year or two ago?
Yeah, it was pretty recent. Yeah.
And you were like, that's what I had. And the fact that you said glowing red eyes, because you'd never even said that before, and I was like, everybody says that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard some encounters of people where they're like fully awake, able to move, no problem, and then the paralysis hits them. Then the fear hits them, and then they see the figure kind of situation.
It might have been like that. I don't remember sleeping. I just know I was facing my door, and like normally if I'm falling asleep, it's on my back.
There is something wrong with that house, but that is not for this episode.
Yeah, there's more stories I could tell you,
but
that's
I am
probably the freakiest
terrified,
thing that
and
happened in
I
that
don't
house.
think I'd be able to sleep ever or go to that house.
Oh, I had to keep going to sleep there.
I
had to
know.
go back to sleep that night. What do you expect?
Nope.
I had to go to school the next day.
Most people get some kind of thing that people call paranormal apathy, where they're just like,
cut it out.
They just cut it out, and then they hide their head under their comforter and go to sleep.
Oh, yeah, and my mom, just being super religious, like, after I told her this story, was like, it's a demon, and got some holy water from her friend and sprinkled it everywhere. I honestly, even though I didn't believe it was going to do anything, I was still welcoming absolutely anything, because I didn't believe that there could be a thing like the Hat Man that was going to come and visit me in the middle of the night.
The best thing you can do in those scenarios is to rely on those religious things. And, you know, it's going to sound weird, but the more spiritually aligned you are, you're able to remove these things a little bit easier. But yeah, that's absolutely terrifying, and I would never sleep again. So
a good thing I don't live there anymore.
Yeah, I feel nothing in this house. I've never had anything eerie.
No, there's creepiness from the house that I was born and raised in versus the one that we moved to in high school. And there could have been something that followed us there, but...
It's more than likely they stirred up something, because renovations and moving ground always stirs up something.
Yeah, and my parents moved to a neighborhood where they were developing part of the woods, so something that hadn't been touched at all. And on top of that, the person who was in charge of the land right before they purchased it, and they technically did this illegally right after they purchased it, and they were mad about it, but they took a ton of the topsoil from this ground that was part of the forest, and they dug like 15 feet down and pushed it down a hill to try and level everything out again. So if there was something buried down there, it got stirred up. And it's still there.
Yeah, that house, super uncomfortable. Don't like being over there. Have no problem sleeping in our current home completely by myself. no problems. We'll walk around in here in the dark, no issues. Well, now I have some problems because I step on toys.
Yes, I was going to say, there's toys everywhere.
But, like, I will walk around in the dark here. Your parents' place? Absolutely not. I just lay there terrified in bed all night long. I'm scared.
Well,
And
luckily, when I am over there anymore, it's because I'm watching the dogs. And if I'm watching the dogs, they want to stay in that room with you because they like people. And I don't feel as bad. Now, my allergies do. But I don't feel as bad staying in there with the dogs. Except when, they get weirded out by something and they will, like, animals. You've probably seen a lot of videos. Like I mentioned, I see a lot of weird ghost videos. And animals are, like, really in tune
they're
with
super in tune with
stuff
it.
that's
It's
going
like
on.
kids from the ages 7 and below. And then elderly from, like, the ages of,
nearing death.
80 to 100 or whatever are
Yeah.
super sensitive. And then animals in general. Unless it's a fish. I mean, I'm going to say a fish probably
Fish are
isn't
barely in tune with the living.
Well,
So tell me about the Hat Man.
Yeah, we got a little sidetracked there, but I've never heard that story, and I am terrified right now. So,
We're telling this in the dark with, like, a little bit of light in the
but
middle
it's
of the
fine.
night.
This house has always made me feel safe and comfortable.
Happy
So,
Halloween.
so first off, I just want to talk about the name. What he would have a name. We're going back to SMT, guys. What his name would be in SMT.
His name should be Hat Man.
It should just be Hatman, right? Like, I think that's pretty easy.
Because if you search Hat Man, you actually get the thing, and it describes the thing perfectly.
It's exactly what it is. And I thought his alignment should definitely be chaos.
Oh, God, yes.
100% chaos, and race is spirit, I would assume, or haunt, or whatever.
Haunt. Probably haunts, yeah.
So I was also starting to think of, like, what moves he would have. I got into this. I got really excited, and I wanted your expertise because you know more about the moveset in these things. But now knowing about your terrifying experience, I don't know if you want to keep talking about it.
Oh, it doesn't scare me.
So for moves, I wanted him to have moves like Mudo, but I didn't want him to have any of the insta-kill ones or anything like that.
Well, that's what they all are. And I thought about that, too, when you brought that up. Like, he should definitely, like, block Dark. I think, like, Dark needs to be incorporated somewhere there. But I don't think he should be using it because he doesn't want to kill you. He doesn't want to hurt you. He wants to upset you and, like, stall you. So I would say it needs to have really good sleep abilities or, like, some sort of maybe paralyze would be better.
Well, I had looked up some other abilities because I was like, if he could inflict fear, because that is a thing in SMT.
In Persona, it's a thing.
Oh, in Persona, okay.
Anxiety was a thing in Metaphor. Like, they have things that are close.
Well, okay, there's a move called Evil Smile, and I thought that would just be perfect.
That sounds like a unique move. Who knows that? All right, it doesn't look exclusive to any one particular demon, but it is barely ever used. So tell me about Evil Smile.
So instills fear in all foes.
Okay, well,
And
fear.
it's just
so it's a Persona
It's
move.
just an ailment, and it's just a Persona move. Because, it looks like it's showing up in mostly, Persona and Megami Bunroku Persona, so whatever that one is. But yes.
Evil Smile implies that it has a face, and
That's very true.
That's not really what it looks like. It truly looks like a void with red headlights coming at you.
Yeah.
Sure, stat-wise, like, mechanically, what Evil Smile does, which is kind of like an energy drain spell that also, I think, reduces your level by 1. So it's something that it's a crippling move, which mechanically is what he should be doing. But I don't know if that's the one.
Okay, well, you were also talking about, like, paralysis and sleep.
I would say that energy drain in general, I would say, like, it either puts you to sleep, puts you to some sort of dormant state where you can't move. Sleep is probably the best one because it's related to sleep anyway. And I would assume, would then just spam energy drain, which sucks your HP and your MP away. So that way he's, like, getting something out of it and just, like, stalling you, sucking everything away. So he could be useful as stat buffing healer.
Yeah, okay.
On your party, I mean. Like, not obviously by himself.
Yeah, obviously not
Like,
you
you
fighting
could reuse
it.
him.
And I thought, definitely weak to, like, Hama and light moves.
Oh, yeah.
I may have heard a few stories about him in the daylight. Yeah, but not very often. Because it's usually associated with sleeping and being at night.
If it was the thing that I saw at my front porch, and I swear it looked the same, the thing that I saw on my front porch, I was wide awake, not even, like, drowsy or anything, just, like, sitting downstairs, not even near my bed, and just, like, flipping through my phone with the dogs waiting. And this thing appeared on the doorstep, and of course I hear starting, and I look over and I why is there a
Why
knock
would
at the
someone
door?
knock at your door too if there's
At,
a doorbell?
Yeah, at like 10:30 at night, and
Yeah.
it's pitch dark, and like, well, there's nobody there. Yeah, and of course, like I just didn't move and stared, and I told you the rest of it. But,
Turn
yeah.
on every light in that house possible.
But that didn't do anything. That's where I'm going with this. Like, there were so many lights on, and it didn't matter. So I don't even know if it should be.
Then
weak
I
to
would
light.
just go grab a cross and a rosary after that. Anything, I'll take it.
I don't want to make him too overpowered, but I feel like it should null physical.
Oh, that's in my next section where I was talking more about the stats, because right now I was just talking about like move sets and things like that, and I didn't know if there were really any elemental attacks or anything that he could have or get. I think he's mostly going to be ailment based.
Oh yeah, he would probably Dekaja, Dekunda, Debilitate. Oh, Debilitate would be perfect.
So for stats, I was thinking, his magic attack would probably be his higher stat. I don't know if that influences ailment's effectiveness or not.
That would be his luck, but I would actually say that his magic attack would probably not be as high. Though it would make energy drain stronger, and I feel like that's why he's got this wave of influence that might make him powerful, so
But
maybe.
On the opposite side of that, I would say he has super low magic defense for, the stories that I've heard about, like, if you're able to mentally reduce that fear and, overcome, some people might say a prayer or something like that, and he'll start to fade. Those kind of situations I've heard about before. So I thought his magic defense would be lower.
But people see this thing all around the world.
All around the world.
And he is afraid of every single prayer of every single
Yeah,
deity.
probably, as long as you're praying to something that's not him. But, like, sometimes you gotta pray to Pazuzu to get rid of the McGonagall. So, it doesn't matter.
Manananggal.
Neither are good,
No.
but maybe one will protect you. Yeah, I did write on here, maybe null physical, because you're not physically attacking this thing.
Yeah, but even Poltergeist, for example, doesn't null physical. You can still hit Poltergeist.
That's ridiculous.
I know. And Gremlins, like you
But,
can...
a poltergeist is usually associated to a physical being in the house, so...
Like it's possessing something.
Yeah.
Yeah, in SMT it's possessing a little doll.
Okay, well,
So,
maybe that's
maybe
it.
that's what you're hurting the doll.
And then I thought he'd have weak physical attack on top of that. Does, like, next
Pitiful.
to nothing damage.
Pitiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And level-wise, I was even thinking, like, I would want him to be, like, a lower level, but, like, slightly
Mid-early.
above. Yeah,
Mid-early.
like...
Like
maybe,
Baphomet level.
Yeah, like, not like,
Just after Jack Frost.
Yeah, not like pixie low, but, like, a little bit
Yeah.
higher.
Second dungeon.
Because, like, if we were also to just add shadow people as a demon, that would be the one that would be, like, at pixie level.
I know you've got lots of different other paranormal characters that you can tell me about.
Shadow people is just kind of what Hatman falls into. He is a specific kind of named shadow person.
Okay.
But there are other examples of shadow people, and they do very similar things, but they are not as strong as that Hatman.
Okay, so there's tiers of this species of this thing that I saw.
Yes.
I wasn't afraid of this thing after I'd convinced myself it was like, okay, maybe I did leave my door open. I could have sworn I just watched it swing open, and, I can't really forget the wind and all that stuff, and then the guy. But let's just say that, that was all sleep paralysis and I just saw that as a hallucination. The fact that years later I find out that other people see this exact same thing.
Exact same thing. And a lot of them are in your same situation. I had never heard of the Hatman. I had never heard of these things before. Mm-hmm. And they find it out what it is years later, and they're calling into podcasts like, I need help. What is this? And it's everywhere. It is everywhere. And, some places might have different wording. Usually here we call it a spirit or a demon. Mostly shadow people here in the U.S. But, we might go to another country.
Because we like our paranormal and cryptids.
Yeah, right. So we might call it like a fae in another country,
sure.
Or, an ashwang or something like that.
Does it visit certain people multiple times?
I haven't really heard that as much. Most people just have one encounter.
Good.
And that is it.
It better be right.
But I mean, like I said, I think you should go on that podcast and ask him about it, because he's going to be able to tell you, like...
Yeah, I'm sure.
with how many stories he's heard. So for the design, because I feel like we got to talk about the design a little bit. Mm-hmm. Very simple black silhouette, wearing some kind of a bowler hat or a fedora.
Yeah.
Yeah?
With a wide brim.
Wide-brimmed hat. And I think you should
Not
definitely
quite wider
wear...
than the shoulders. Like, slightly thinner than the shoulders, but about that wide.
I think you should wear a trench coat.
Oh, yeah. Well, like, the silhouette of the trench coat. It's still black.
It's still, like, absolute black and then glowing red eyes. Boom. Done.
I feel like the bottom,
SMT demon.
like, waist and down part of the trench coat and the rest of his body just, like, fades away.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you just see him, like, torso up.
I can see that. And it kind of looks like there's a demon that's all black and a white hair. Scotty.
Yeah, we're probably not saying that right.
Probably not. Is it Irish?
Okay, so Scotty's right.
Scotty has, like, red eyes and it's just void black, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I kind of imagine that same kind of situation. But like you're saying, maybe fading out the bottom.
A little mistier, yeah.
A little mistier? A little bit more terrifying? After hearing your story, I don't want this in SMT now. I'm genuinely just scared.
Yeah, no, it was not a fun experience.
Well, that's all I really had. I don't know if there's anything else we need to talk about when it comes to demons. I think we pretty well laid it out for you, Atlas, so if we could add
Make
that
them already.
in there.
What are you doing? It's supposed to be like a thing that everyone has seen around the world. So
I mean,
guess,
maybe they call it a yokai over there.
yeah, maybe
I don't know.
just not enough Japanese have seen it. Anyway, be sure to tune into the next episode where we will summon a new demon that begins with the letter H. Let us know your favorite demon that begins with H and what you thought of this episode, and we would love to hear from you. You can find me online at HamsterBomb on YouTube, where I host a long list of Let's Plays, reviews, and live streams.
I also really want to get good feedback on if you like this idea of doing the demon suggestions and hearing Alex's terrifying personal story. Because I would love to talk more about just paranormal things that are not necessarily in SMT, but I think should be in there because it's fun to think about it that way.
Thank you all so much for listening. Take care not to let the demons possess you while you sleep. And we will see you all in the next episode. Toodles!
Bye-bye.